The state agency is breaking the law and nobody is holding them accountable.
Our investigative team has found people needing psychiatric treatment waiting 6 times as long as they're supposed to while sitting behind bars. And last night we shared the story of how an inmate who was waiting to be transferred to the state mental hospital was murdered. She had waited more than a month to be transferred twice as long as what the state allowed.
In part 2 of Held Without Help, 10 Investigates' Jennifer Titus uncovers new documents showing there are hundreds of inmates in the state waiting months to be transferred.
This is a story about a mother who wouldn't give up.
This was sent to DCF and various other agencies.
Even when the system seemed to work against her.
Yes.
With her daughter's mental health at stake.
It's really a very broken, poor system, and nobody cares.
Paula's daughter Danielle was diagnosed with schizophrenia in her 30s.
Has been sick for a number of years.
Under Florida's Baker Act law, someone with mental illness can be involuntarily given treatment if he or she is a threat to themselves or others. Danielle was Baker Acted a dozen times in Broward County.
Yes, because her behavior was irrational at times.
Paula, fearful for her daughter's safety, even tried to get her a judge to mandate she go to treatment. But both times the cases were dismissed.
It was just really an unfair, a terrible, broken system. It really is.
Not able to get Danielle the help she knew she needed, her daughter would find herself in trouble with the law.
She then got arrested first in September, same thing, reckless driving, and I put up the bond to get her out.
But while she was waiting for her court appearance, she was arrested again and her bail revoked.
She was incarcerated January 6th. She was deemed incompetent on February 12th at a court hearing.
According to state law, once an inmate is deemed incompetent and ordered to the state hospital, they have to be moved within 15 days.
So when she was deemed incompetent at that court hearing, did you know the state law at that time? Did you think, okay, well, she'll be going to the state hospital in this many days, or you just expected?
I expected that it would be soon, within a month at least, but it wasn't happening. And every time I reached out to the public defender, DCF, and everybody had the same response. We have no time frame in mind. When there's a bed available, that's when she'll be moved.
It would take more than 6 months until Danielle was finally transferred.
And I kept calling, writing letters, and got really nowhere.
Our investigation uncovering Danielle isn't the only one waiting. Court documents show as of last July, 881 individuals were on the wait list. At the time, men were waiting 117 days and women 125. The findings coming from a court order for the Department of Children and Families to show cause as to why they should not be held in direct contempt for not placing another inmate in a forensic facility within 15 days.
No, there's no accountability at all as far as I'm concerned in the whole system.
DCF added while the legislature added funding for additional bed space, there are continued staffing shortages and the wait list has increased by 74% in the past 5 years.
Well, we were aware that this could be a problem, and we started to tackle it with Senate Bill 330 that I co-sponsored.
Senate Bill 330 is also known as the Behavioral Health Teaching Hospitals Act. The governor signed it in 2024 as part of a Live Healthy initiative. Senator Rasan says it will create beds for those mentally ill by allowing licensed hospitals to be designated as teaching hospitals, offering a psychiatric residency program and behavioral health services. The law also required a study of the state's resources for behavioral health. The report found that the department would need to add at least 1,602 additional beds within the next 5 years to meet the demand.
That's going to take time. What about the inmates now that are waiting?
Well, like I said, it's top of mind.
Time ran out for Gemma Shunk.
Shortly after that phone call that I found out that she had passed.
She was killed by another inmate after waiting more than a month to be transferred to a state hospital.
I just never ever thought something like that would happen.
It's the order for continuing commitment for involuntary placement.
As for Paula,
It's heartbreaking.
she worries about the others behind bars being held without help.
I could sit here and cry what happened to her Nobody wants to be ill.
Now, we reached out to a dozen jails around the state looking to see how long inmates are waiting. Nearly every single jail had an inmate waiting more than 100 days. Hillsborough County has an inmate that's been waiting to be transferred since December 2024. And as the senator said, this is a top issue. They plan on increasing the funding for DCF, and we'll see what develops during the legislative session. Jennifer Titus, 10 Investigates.